Okay, I'm getting started bright and early this morning. Get this video out to you today. This is Workbook Lesson 113, queued up for you. It's all ready to go. It's part of review number 3 of the workbook, and there's 2 lessons for each review day. This is the third day of the review. So lesson 113 for morning and evening review. Number 1, lesson 95, I am one self united with my Creator. Serenity and perfect peace are mine because I am one self, completely whole, at one with all creation and with God. And we'll talk about this in a moment, but let's do number 2, lesson 96, salvation comes from my one self. From my one self, whose knowledge still remains within my mind, I see God's perfect plan for my salvation perfectly fulfilled. And then on the hour, I am one self united with my Creator. On the half hour, salvation comes from my one self. So Jesus has asked us to do this once an hour. Each of these once an hour. So at the beginning of the hour, you do, I am one self, united with my Creator. On the half hour, salvation comes from my one self. Jesus also said in the introduction to this that it's not so important. If you miss, it's quality, not quantity. You just want to be aware if you're not doing the lessons, you have to ask yourself why, and is it because you're avoiding it? And if you are, that's okay. Don't forgive yourself, don't judge yourself, and then once you change your mind about that, which you probably will, right? Some people, as I said before, they stop doing the course. They just stop cold turkey, and they go on to other things. And some people come back. And I've heard from people who say, I just got back into the course after a while. I let it, let it sit. I think that the course is not necessarily for everyone, and you have to make that decision of there are other spiritual paths that might be more suitable, and this path is definitely, in many ways, it's a thinking person's path, and that doesn't mean that if you don't do the course you're not a thinking person. It just means that it's for a certain kind of person. I think in general, a person who's is maybe a reader and a thinker, and but it doesn't have to be. You can definitely do the course. Anyone can do the course, and many people do the course, and they're not necessarily deep thinkers. So it can work on many different levels. I'm just going by what Helen said originally. She was like, when she finished, she was like, finally, there's something for the thinkers. There's something for those, those kinds of people. And that's what the course is, I think, in general. So let's go over these. I am one self, lesson 95. I am one self united with my Creator. Serenity, and this is Jesus' commentary. Serenity and perfect peace are mine because I am one self, completely whole, at one with all creation and with God. Now, why is the word self even used? Partly, I think, because when we talk about ourself, we say myself, yourself, his self, herself. This is English, right? The course came in English. Other languages have different words, but in English we talk about when we talk about ourself, we talk about an individual. We talk about that I am a separate, distinct unique individual. You might even add the word special. I'm special, right? I am separate from all creation, right? Everything else is not me. And this is affirming that that my true reality actually is self with a capital S. And that one self includes all. It includes God as well, right? United with my Creator. What does that mean? That means I am one with my Creator. I am one with God. So the self that I really am is one with God. Okay, so let's put that on the table. And then serenity and perfect peace are mine. And you might say, what's the difference between serenity and perfect peace? We could talk about that, Is there a difference? Because I am one self, completely whole, at one with all creation and with God. Right, so now the emphasis is not on being one united with my Creator, but one with all creation and with God, who is the creator of creation, right? So I am one with my Creator and with all creation. And in that oneness, there is perfect peace, serenity. Jesus doesn't use the word serenity a whole lot in the Course. He generally uses the word peace. I think serenity kind of has that connotation, right? Of perfect peace. Serenity is like even deeper peace, like serene, like undisturbed. Nothing can possibly threaten or disturb or agitate this perfect peace. All right, so that's the first one. I am one self united with my Creator. And it's helpful, I think, Jesus has said this, that it's helpful to think about the meaning of these lessons as you do them, right? Number 2, lesson 96, salvation comes from my one self. From my one self, whose knowledge still remains within my mind, I see God's perfect plan for my salvation perfectly fulfilled. All right, so God, what do we take from this? First of all, salvation comes from my one self. What is salvation? The knowledge of that one self still remains within my mind. So this is now kind of an indication of the Holy Spirit, right? So I am one self. This one self is, you could say, my higher mind, or the higher mind, or you could say my inner teacher, my inner guide, my higher self. Maybe higher self is a good term because it's using the word self. So my higher self is the Holy Spirit, HS, right? The abbreviation, Holy Spirit, higher self. And that still is there in my mind, right? It's waiting for me. It's waiting for me to find it. It's waiting for me to accept it. It's never changed. It's always been there, right? I've just allowed it to be covered over by all the other stuff that has gotten in the way, and that has led me to see myself as a limited self, a limited person with a body, with a story, with a history or herstory, with a trials and tribulations and the sad story of my life, or maybe it's the happy story of my life. But generally, for most of us,
I took my shirt off because my shirt just got dirty.
Okay, bud. How'd it get dirty?
I need to go pee now.
Okay, go pee, bud.
Because I ate food and then it was spilling everywhere. Because I didn't eat so good because I was eating on the bed. But it didn't get dirty on the bed.
Okay, bud.
That's not me.
I'm just finishing up this video, bud. I'll be done 1 second here.
Okay.
So
I need to go pee now.
the other thing
Did you play
about this, yeah, I'm gonna put the cards away, bud. I need to find a more private spot for these videos. So I see God's perfect plan for my salvation perfectly fulfilled. We're gonna play cards later. right? So God has a perfect plan, right? And the perfect plan, I can tune into that perfect plan by tuning in to this self, this higher self or Holy Spirit that's in my mind.
Hilarious, bro.
Yeah, bro.
Hey, you're a bro, not me.
So I see God's perfect plan for my salvation perfectly fulfilled. All right, from my I believe my one self is speaking to me right now. My one self is very funny. So this is talking about the Holy Spirit, right? This is the Holy Spirit has God's plan. God is not in the picture. Why? Because we pushed God out of the picture, right? We basically threw heaven away. That's the whole idea here, is that we don't know God. The only link we have with God at this moment is a higher self or the Holy Spirit, which is in our mind. And the good news is that has salvation, written all over it, right? Like if we could just tune into that higher self, our Holy Spirit, then we would know the truth. We would find the truth. The truth would set us free, and we'd be free and clear. As long as we are not accepting that, though, and resisting it and not listening to that still small voice of reason and of forgiveness and of love and of gentleness and kindness, then we are we're locked out of heaven. We've locked ourselves out. It's not that God has done that. God has never changed, right? The Holy Spirit has never changed. Our true self has never changed. It's just that we have, temporarily chosen to forget because we wanted to be separate. We wanted to feel what that was like. And at some point, at whatever point that may be, we may decide that that was a nice experiment in separation, but let's go back now. I want to go. Gee, Mom, I want to go home. Right? I want to go home again. It's time to go home. So if that's you, if that's where you're at, then the course can definitely help you with that. So and I wish you Godspeed with that. And we're going to do lesson 114 next. Thank you so much for listening, and please pardon the interruptions. And no, I'm kidding. That was a blessing to have a little boy interrupt with his pee. All right, we'll see you very soon. Thank you. Aloha.